What's going on, guys? Apathetic here, and today we are going over some Warlock tips to take your Warlock game to the next level. One thing to know is I'm not going to focus on a specific subclass, but instead on tips that can apply to whatever subclass you are most comfortable with. So let's get into it. Warlock tip number 1 revolves around using your class ability or Rift. Warlock Rift is a big part of what makes this class powerful, and a lot of people, including myself, underutilize this class ability. So there are a couple ways you can use your Rift to improve your decision making on Warlock. The obvious one is to get your health back and keep yourself from dying after a close gunfight, or to keep yourself alive a little bit longer to give your teammates time to get to you. And this is how most people use their Rifts. They are reactionary with their Rift use and use it only to keep themselves alive. Another way to use the Rift is to use it proactively. What I mean by this is using your Rift to anchor down specific points of the map to start chain kills together. So typically you want to anchor your Rift near a point in the map where you have a good cover, and it's typically near a B point because this is an area the enemy is going to have to go through or want to control to win the game. By proactively dropping your Rift in these areas just before you see your enemy, it allows you to build up your overshield and take on a lot more opponents at once. Because of your increased health regeneration, of course, it assists in maintaining that map control. Tip 2 has to do with one of Warlock's biggest weaknesses and the thing people always complain about, and that is our movement. People always complain about how floaty and slow Warlock feels, and they aren't totally wrong. I always see comments saying, hey, Warlock's cool, but I just can't get past that hunter jump. So how we combat this is by ensuring we are using the correct jump for our Warlock. So often you will find people who have these complaints are typically using strafe or balance glide, which, unless you're raiding and you need to jump like super far or float a little bit higher, are going to make your Warlock feel so floaty and heavy. It's just a terrible feeling. So using burst glide is really our answer to improving our movement and feel of our Warlock. Burst glide allows us to Warlock skate and move around the map a lot quicker, and it helps us move more horizontally instead of vertically. This actually leads me into something else, and that is, as you start skating on Warlock and you're using your burst glide, you need to be careful to not get caught skating right into the enemy. It can be easy to get so into your skating that you kind of get caught with your pants down out in the open mid skate and you're easy pickings. So don't lose your radar or your awareness as you're skating around and kind of trying out this burst glide, and just don't make that basic mistake. Our third tip, and this one ties a little bit into our last tip, and that's to limit jumping as much as possible. So at this point, you're hopefully using burst glide now, and as we pointed out, this helps our movement be a little bit more horizontal, but it doesn't eliminate that floating of the Warlock jump completely. And something I've noticed when playing other Warlocks is if they get caught off guard, they kind of panic jump or panic float, and that's a big no-no, because when you're floating in the air as a Warlock, the enemy is basically playing duck hunt at this point, and you're super easy to pick out of the sky. So focus on eliminating that bad habit of panic jumping, and keep your feet on the ground as much as possible, and sliding around more, and focus on sliding around as your way to get quicker movement other than jumping. Now, the one time I do like to utilize the Warlock jump is to float above doorways with my shotgun. This allows me to get a really good position, and it can really throw your enemy off. It should be noted though that I typically only do this as a last resort, and I use that verticality to give me a little extra time to get my health back. Tip 4, and this tip could be applied to any class in the game, but I like it especially for Warlocks, and that is using your grenade as a play starter. What this means is using your grenade at the start of an engagement to hopefully give yourself an immediate upper hand in the fight. Now, the reason I really like Warlocks for this is because no matter what class you play, you have a pulse-like grenade. So a grenade that pulses and does a ton of repeated damage to anyone that is near it. These grenades are great for play starting, and they work in so many scenarios, such when a team is trying to lock down a point, a Titan is using their shield to try to lock down areas such as heavy, or when your enemies are hiding in a corner. They have so much utility and do so much damage that for me, they are a no-brainer. Now, the arc grenade with its recent buff and Storm Grenade are really good too, and especially with the buff to Chain Lightning, it can make for some pretty crazy plays, but they still lack the same amount of utility that the different variations of Pulse Grenades bring. Our last tip is all about exotics, and it's all about choosing the exotic that best complements your playstyle. For me, that's Transverse's Steps, because I love the enhanced mobility and the auto reload that allows me to constantly stay engaged with my opponents and in the fight, and gives me kind of one less thing to worry about. I have to worry about stopping and reloading and getting slowed down by that. For others, they may really love the Ophidian aspects for the increased ready and reload speed, or maybe Crown of Tempest based on the build you're using with your Warlock. The point is, make sure you are taking advantage of these exotics and using them in your playstyle as much as possible. Warlock has some really strong exotics that really help overcome some of the pain points of the class that I mentioned, such as their movement. So don't sell your Warlock or yourself short, and choose the exotic that fits your playstyle. But let me know in the comments down below, guys, what's your favorite Warlock exotic is and why. That's it for the video, guys, and remember, if you're looking to improve your Warlock play, utilize your Rift proactively, use Burst Glide to improve movement and keep your boots on the ground, use Pulse Grenades as a play starter, and lastly, choose the exotic that is right for you and your playstyle. Hope this video has been helpful. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Shut the enemy down. Double down. Your moments of clarity are weapons, Warlock. Double down. Zone B lost. Zone C lost.
He just literally ran straight at it too. All they're doing is moving.
Zone A lost. It's a power play. Get those zones back. Zone B captured. 3 minutes. Hold strong, and this battle is yours.
Another one? It's broken. Like I'm telling you, it's broken. There's heavy at B.
Shut the enemy down. Double down.
We're gonna make a, like, I'm down to make a hunter too. Make a hunter and then you're gonna nerf the next guy.
That's why we have fire team. Sound tactics bring victory. Double down.
I don't know. Just my fucking luck.
You're a wall around those zones. Take that iron will beyond the
That's
crucible.
me, dude, honestly.
Perfect.